when the most of the transactions in the present world are taking place through digital platform. And the question comes whether the evidence of a transaction, agreement, receipt, or any document can be laid through these, which are done by the digital platform, say by mail, by exchange of information, the offer, acceptance of offer on the basis of mail documents or variety of documents. There may be a mail is one of the instances, maybe on WhatsApp, maybe those can be on Twitter, Facebook. So these are various means for communication or exchange of communication. And the basis of the law is that parties can have an agreement. In India, it is also an oral agreement which is accepted. But for precise terms in Evidence Act, always the primary evidence is preferred. And this kind of evidence, say the electronic record, is not a primary evidence. So any evidence which is in the electronic form is never a primary evidence. It is a secondary evidence. And that brings about the difficulty of the requirements under Section 65 of Evidence Act, how to prove this digital evidence and what are the standards which are required. Now, by the Information Technology Act came in picture in 2010. Subsequently, Commercial Courts Act also came in picture, and both these enactments required the corollary amendments in the substantive law like Evidence Act. So Evidence Act definition of a document was simple all the through, because it is a act enactment which is a very good and perfect enactment of 1872. Actually, Evidence Act came in force in 1834. It was subsequently amended in 1837. But today's Evidence Act, which we are following, is of 1872. So definition of a document under this act is not including or was not including the digital documents or the documents which are digitally obtained, printed, or copies made. For example, pen drive, though that will be a digital document. You don't need to transcript or bring into the printed copy. You can produce the pen drive. There is a CDR record. Nowadays, it's very important in criminal trial, that where the accused was last seen, was last having his contacts through the mobile tower. So those CDR records are also the digital type of evidence. In one of my cases, there was a diary written by the deceased wife in her office on her own computer, and that diary described about the harassment made by her husband. So the retrieving of a diary through the computer and again the recorded in the form of, say, a CD or a pen drive, whether that kind of evidence is acceptable as it is without anything or further required to be done to that. The answer is no, because 65B is divided into various subsections. Now, the requirement of this digital kind of evidence to be incorporated in the main evidence or original laws of the particular countries is a consequent of a resolution passed in United Nations General Assembly on 30/1/1997. There is a model draft of this electronic evidence to be accepted because commercial transactions, most of them are all over the world, entered into, performed or executed based on these electronic exchanges or electronic media. So this electronic evidence has got a very important and basic importance in day-to-day life, and nowadays it is increasingly more and more. Now considering this, we will see what is first of all 65B, and then we'll go to the how the law has been developed up to the latest of Arjun Khotkar's case decided on 14 July 2020. Because there are two major cases which are holding the field. One is PV Anwar's case, which was decided in 2014, and subsequently now Arjun Khotkar's case, which is decided by 5 judges bench. The first was decided by 3 judges bench. So why it went to the 5 judges bench is also important to be said. These are related to only electronic evidence. Now, what are the provisions of 65B? That is, any information containing in electronic record which is printed on paper, storage, recorded, copied, or the information which is in optical or magnetic formula that is produced from a computer which is to be deemed to be a document. So this is the definition amendment in Evidence Act about the document. Now, information in electronic record can be, as I said, on a printed paper, or it can be a storage. Yes, there are various means of storage. Hard disk, USB drive, or a pen drive, we call it, or in a cloud. There is a cloud which stores the number of data, your important information. So that is also a means of storage. Thirdly, which is copied or obtained from optical media. Now, nowadays, telecommunication has advanced on such a stage that through satellite, the optical media transcripts your information or whatever the data is there to your computer or your TV. So most of the nowadays entertainment programs like Netflix, then Hotstar, Amazon, these are all coming through the optical media or through the internet or a satellite. So this is how the media helps you to retrieve it. Huh? Yes. Anybody? Information in electronic record is produced from the storage, and that is called a computer. Now, information and computers, those both must be verified. Both must satisfy certain tests. The information must be as it is. Because you know, nowadays in a computer information or a data stored in a computer, there are viruses or there is a likelihood of human interference by various ways. That a document which is stored on a computer can be tampered with, can be changed a particular form, and later angle, paragraph. So this happens. So information from the computer must be as it is. And the second important is conditions about the computer output are given in section 65B subclause 2. Now this must be a computer which is being used regularly, where the data is stored or from which the data is retrieved that computer must be storing the information regularly. Then information must be regularly fed. That is during the course of business is the word used somewhere in Evidence Act also. So regularly, daily basis, that information is fed into the computer, and the computer must have operating properly. Malfunctioning of the computer may also corrupt the data. Suppose there is a electric problem, light problem, or there is a battery problem, instrument problem. So this malfunctioning may tamper or may change the data. May not be human interference, but because these technical snags, this while feeding data or while retrieving data, at least it must be operating properly. It must be in a good condition. Then information in electronic record must be fed, that is again a repetition, in a regular way or a regular activities of all regular activities. That is, it is recording the movement of a person who comes out of the house, goes into the house regularly and daily basis. Suppose you install a camera, video camera, through the public authority or through the government. That camera must record regularly the information in its recorder. So that is important. So information must be regularly entered into and regularly fed. Now this is the requirement of section 65B2. Now what is the requirement of section 65B3? B3 is, there can be a one computer, or there can be, in our office there are many computers. They are connected, may be connected through a wire, through internet. So there is a series of computers which are connected to each other. So at one and the same time, the information fed in one computer goes to these 6 computers. So this is a group of computers which may be having the data, or sometimes the information is fed in my computer and that automatically is sent or can be retrieved by another computer who has got the password of my storage, cloud storage. So this is another computer also is retrieving the same information. Then there may be a combination of the computers. There may be a variety of computers which may be retrieving or which may be regularly taking the data, feeding the data. In a bank, you find there may be a number of PCs in front of the employees of a bank. But those all computers are connected to their main data server of a branch. Then branch in turn is connected to the main data server of the bank. And the bank may have a connection of all the banks to the Reserve Bank. So this is how the connections are there of a series of computers or a data of the computers. Now these are the requirements of subsection 3. Now subsection 4 is an important provision on which the case law is, which I had just now said, is being developed or is developing. Now what is this? This is a certificate. As I told you, the preliminary or a basic requirement of any evidence to be authentic is that it must be primary. But this digital or computer evidence or electronic evidence is not a primary evidence. And that brings about this certification. Now this certificate is about the identification of the electronic record containing the information. That certificate must mention. Then particulars of the device involved in production of the electronic record and particulars of the computer. So the case which I had told you, which we were dealing through our office, where there was a charge about the dowry harassment against the husband. And the wife had entered the data in her computer maintained at her company's headquarter or company's branch. And in that data was fed, which the police came to know, and they retrieved that data or a hard disk. Now this hard disk was in a computer. So they have to take a certificate about the make of the computer, the data hard disk details of which company, what is its strength, or what is this, how many GB it is. These all things are required, and those are to be sent to the analysis, and that is a data analysis. Then particulars of device involved in production of electronic record from particular computer, and condition must be that a person who desires to produce this evidence. So prosecution in our case wanted to lead this evidence before the court that the girl who died, or a wife who claimed that she was harassed and that caused her to commit a suicide, then in that case that data will have to be produced in the court with the certificate that this data is retrieved from such and such a computer, such and such a hard disk, and that data is also to be produced in the transcripted form and certified by the person who knows the science of maintaining such a record, that is expert in this, and it must be signed by such person. Now the question comes whether there is a likelihood of tampering or a possibility of tampering the data, or somebody rewriting some pages of the diary maintained by the deceased. The answer is in the affirmative. So that also must include that whether that computer was handled, maintained through a password, and that password was not known to anybody else except maybe the branch or the company manager, and he gave the password to open the data to the police. So this all information must be there in the certificate, and such person therefore must be in a responsible official position to give such certificate. Sometimes it may happen that I am using the computer, I am an individual, the other person to whom the money is lent, we entered into a transaction that is through the mail or through the computer, my computer and his computer, then there is no other third person involved who is responsible. Then I have to give the certificate that my computer is made of, say, Lenovo, such and such a model, such and such a make, such and this is the number, and whatever the data is there, I am giving it myself, and that is regularly fed into my computer by me. And I also certify that it is never tampered, never taken or given to anybody else. So this is all requirement of the section 65B4. Now B5 is about the information or a proof of the nature of information supplied to the computer. Now sometimes it is automatic. मी जसं मगाशी सांगितलं व्हिडिओ रेकॉर्डिंग आहे, जे डेटा मध्ये जातं, डिस्क मध्ये जातं किंवा रेकॉर्डर मध्ये जाते, that is automatic. Nobody has to do anything. ऑपरेट करावं लागत नाही. मी घराच्या बाहेर पडलो की रेकॉर्ड होतं की मी बाहेर पडलेलो आहे, आणि मी कुठे गेलोय तिथपर्यंत तो कॅमेरा जिथपर्यंत मला ट्रॅक करू शकतो ते रेकॉर्ड होतो ऑटोमॅटिक. So this is automatic recording. So this is no human interference is required. No human act is required to do that once it is connected and activated. The second is importance is that it shall be supplied the information which is to be produced. That suppose a murder has taken place in my colony, and there are 2 video cameras which have recorded the movements of the persons entering the house and going out of the house. That information must be produced by a person who is occupying responsible position as well as within control of those videos recorder. because it is a common place where the video recording is done. It is not that every camera has got a video recorder separate. It may have a, say, series of 7 cameras which may record the movement. So accordingly, that information has to be by the official who is in charge of the storage. And as I told you, the basic or a primary condition is that that output as it is must be produced. Sometime for some period there may be a blank. He enters the house, nothing is happening, the blank is there, no movement is there. Some cameras or video cameras record, they start the recording only when there is a movement. Otherwise they don't record. And when the movement is again there before the camera, the recording starts. So whatever the recording is there, as it is to be produced. It cannot be doctored, it cannot be manipulated, or it cannot be edited. That is important aspect in this. Or it can be produced directly. Sometimes it is not possible to bring the heavy recorder, which has got a capacity of recording maybe 365 days. You may have a particular clip copied on the another device, which may be pen drive, which may be CD, or which may be such like device, which you can produce in the court. So this is giving a go by to the traditional evidence which is mentioned under section 61 to 90. The question will come whether the traditional evidence was not sufficient to deal with this situation, whether actually the law required to amend, or whether the original provisions under the Evidence Act, where the secondary evidence and then how to prove the secondary evidence are there, were not sufficient. For that, if we see section 61 itself, because the word used is document. Unless you decipher that word into the electronic form or digital form, you cannot lead evidence. Now, electronic or a digital form is not a document, was not a document when the enactment of 1872 came into force. So for this purpose, explanation was required, or the definition was required to be modified to include in the word document, because ordinarily the document means the letter, maybe figures, maybe signs, but it did not include the digital data, electronic data, magnetic data, etc., etc. So this is how the requirement was there. Now, provided this electronic data or a magnetic data or a digital data is transcribed, say printed on a paper, that is produced, that may become a document. But the question will come, the source. The source of the document is always required to be seen. As I told you, whatever you print it from the computer is not a primary evidence. What is the primary evidence? Law requires you bring the primary evidence. Now, primary evidence will be in the form of a binary language or a language of the computer, which nobody can understand and read. So if that language is transcribed or modified or changed into the language which we know, maybe in English, Marathi, whatever. So storage in a computer is in a language which is not of a language of our persons, but it is a computer language. So electronically recorded evidence can be produced, but that production is required with a certificate. Now this certificate or this production of electronic record went through a series of judgments. Now I will Before enlisting further, I will give two questions which the Supreme Court had asked to the counsels in the court. That suppose a person in case of a criminal trial wants to plead a case of alibi. I hope you understand alibi. Now, in that case, he has brought something, a boarding pass. Say Nanavati's case. He was not in Bombay, he was in Delhi. He had flown to Delhi early in the morning of say 11th, and the murder took place in the noon of the event that day, that is about 11 o'clock, 11 or 12, when he was in Delhi. So whether that boarding pass which he has got can be produced as an evidence, or whether he is required to bring a certificate from airline authority, that is question number one. Question number two, most of the times you have gone to the supermarkets. They give you a receipt. The case is filed about the defective goods or services. The receipt given or taken by me from a supermarket is an electronic receipt or a digital form printed receipt. Now, is it required that I should also bring the computer or a certificate of a person? Suppose it is a food mall, or where it is like a Reliance shop, or maybe another shop where the business or daily transactions about 80-70 lakhs, and my item maybe of few thousands. So whether I am bound to produce the certificate for my case of a claim of say 25,000 from such a company or authority. That is the question number two. Now, third question is very serious and important. I have got the evidence, but my original evidence is in the computer of my opponent. I have got the printed form, print in with me, but that print is taken in the office of my opponent. How can I bring the certificate? Whether it is possible for me to bring that certificate? Now, as regards the case law, we will go by one. First is Ramsingh and others, 1985 supplementary SCC page Sashakra. This is the Indian courts considered the English law, especially English case of R versus Maqsood Ali. So here the Supreme Court says that you cannot deny the advantages of electronic evidence, and it would be wrong to deny the law of evidence advantages to be gained by the technique or new devices. This is prior to 2000, prior to Information Technology Act, because Information Technology Act specifically amended section 65. But here our Supreme Court has taken the note of an English law or English case where the electronic evidence has been allowed to be accepted. Then the case comes of Tukaram Digole versus Manikrao Kokate. That is 2010, 4 SCC, page 329. The court was very hopeful that and aware that these devices are susceptible to for human interference or tampering. But still, the admission of such evidence cannot be denied on the basis of such general suspicion. Now, maybe court cautioned that you verify, you scrutinize with stringent rules the evidence in the electronic form, but you must accept. So that is Tukaram Degole's case. Next is again the famous judgment of Thomas Bruno versus State of UP. That is 2015, 7 SCC, page 178. Advancement of information technology must pervade through the modern investigation. Nowadays, investigation in a criminal case are greatly being helped by the electronic evidence. As I told you, recording the videos of the movement of the accused, or recording the happenings near the house of the victim at the time or before the time or after the incident of murder. So these all are being taken into consideration. Another case is of a Muhammad Ajmal Kasab. I need not elaborate on this, where again the video recording of the Viti station or a moment of Ajmal Kasab which was recorded at some places, which is reported in 2012 9 SCC page 1. This recording of evidence was accepted and approved. Then another case of state versus Navjot Sandhu, 2005 11 SCC page 600. Now, position of this law all over the world, especially United Kingdom, is also the same. What they have done, they have not changed their original substantive law like us of Evidence Act, but they have enacted a fresh law, and that is electronic records which are accepted under that law by giving the guidelines or the various requirements which are akin or similar to that of 65B in our case. And similar is the case of American USA, where federal rules of evidence are amended in 2015, and the list of authentication method is also mentioned, which is non-exhaustive. They have mentioned how to seek authentication, get authenticated electronic record. So that list is also mentioned. In Canada, South Africa, they have enacted the separate statute of the digital or electronic evidence in 1998 in Canada and 2002 in South Africa. Then Australia adopted the UK model. Being the Commonwealth country like India, we have also adopted UK model. Australia has also adopted UK model. Then we come to the judgment of PV, Anwar PV. Now, Anwar PV made law is more or less restated and settled about the electronic evidence and a uniformity of the practice, requiring a uniform method of accepting the electronic evidence. And there, the Supreme Court has stated that you must have the certificate under section 65B4 to seek an acceptance of evidence, and that is a necessary precondition for admissibility of the electronic evidence. It also mentions or discusses that judgment. It's very important judgment where it discusses what was the situation prevailing prior to that judgment. And that judgment citation I will give, you can note down. 2014, that is Anwar PV versus PK Bashir. The citation is 2014 10 SCC 473. So Anwar is in a way laying down some guidelines, and rather strictly. It is criticized also because unnecessarily some provisions are given a long rope or given a judicial recognition without there being a case in hand before the court. An authentication of the electronic record with certificate is made rather mandatory or compulsory. So this view underwent a change in Shafi Muhammad versus State of Himachal Pradesh. That is a judgment of 2018, 2 Supreme Court cases at stake. Now in Shafi Muhammad, contrary to what these 3 judges decided in PV Anwar PV, it said that it is not a complete code. 65B is not a complete code. It is a procedural requirement that diluted the rigor of the requirements laid down under Anwar PV. So you can produce the certificate subsequently, even if you don't have now, or you produce the printed document and you produce the certificate after some time. Not necessary that electronic form of evidence must be supported by documents. This is how there is a dilution which has come in the judgment of Anwar PV. Therefore, subsequently, in 2020, in Arjun Khotkar versus Gordial, the Supreme Court thought it fit to refer it to the larger bench. And that reference came in judgment of 2023 SCC 216. It mentions why it is being referred to the larger bench. I have told you 2 questions which the Supreme Court had raised. And therefore, Supreme Court thought it fit that it is very important